Last point probably that I want to point out in terms of why it is so difficult to challenge, especially, appropriations that go to the Defense Department. It is because of this point, which was exposed by a former Director of National Security Division of the Congressional Budget Office. Why is it difficult? Why is the DOD insulated from serious cuts? Later, there is a part of my slide that projects how much in the 2009 figure is devoted to military for the defense, for Pentagon. And it is so difficult to challenge it because, number one, when we speak of the total, budget, especially the discretionary part of the present federal budget, 58% of the current budget under the discretionary part is going to defense. And so, by its very size, even if you reduce it, it is still big. And of course, reducing it, as I said, is so difficult because of the other reasons. It is described here that the Department of Defense, by virtue of the fact that there are soldiers, National Guards, and so on and so forth, who are employed by the Department of Defense, they consist to be the largest single employer in the whole country. So that is a big number of votes. That is a very powerful group that you have to contend with when you are challenging the defense budget. The other are people who are employed in this industry producing weapons. And it says here they consist of about 5.2 million jobs all over the country. So that's a powerful contender too. As well as the 25 million veterans, of course, we have enlightened veterans who are opposed to the war and militarism. But we're speaking in terms of the size. This is, number that we're dealing with. And then finally, the lobby group in Washington, D.C., the think tanks, and so on and so forth. The combination of this makes it difficult to challenge the budget, and that's why this whole front-loading and political engineering becomes a very effective defense power game in the Capitol because of the mass base and the support that they derive from all of this. And how does this, the chief, the executive, and so on and so forth, Congress, and the interest groups representing the weapons manufacturers relate? It is, the description that I got is what they call the iron triangle, and you can just visualize the kind of relationship that is happening. How pressure from one leads to a kind of policy enacted by the body that is implemented, and so on and so forth. This is practically, a process that is continuing in Washington. And probably that's another point to emphasize, when we speak of the biggest concentration of capital going to the military and how it effectively preempts so many aspects that we should need as a society. I'm just presenting to you a budget that came out in 1997. This was before 9/11. And in terms of the total world spending on military at that time, the U.S. constituted 34% of the total global military spending. Now compare that 11 years after, when U.S. military spending is now 48% of the total global spending, compared to other countries, compared to, instance, to Europe, which is a combination of so many European countries, to China, and so on and so forth. The U.S. constitutes the largest spender in military and defense in terms of the global spending. So with that, we can have an idea of how big and the depth of this concentration of capital that's taken place in the hands of the defense for the military. And this is just the list of the nations that was presented in the previous pie chart. And this is the graph of how, from 1997, 1998, how the spending has done, the expenditure on military. This presents to us a pie chart of the 2009 federal budget. The biggest slide are the mandatory spending that goes to Social Security, to Medicare, to Medicaid, and so on and so forth. However, we have to take into account that on the total discretionary side, we have this, which is going to the Department of Defense. 16.85% of that total goes defense. And what is not seen here is that in each of the other departments that are represented in the pie chart, there are also entities that goes to defense. For instance, the manufacture of nuclear weapons is being done by the department, is funded through the Department of Energy. Just as the Advocate General's office in all this litigation, military commission goes to the Department of Defense and so on and so forth. So each of this tiny segment, there is still a section that goes to the military, that if you put together the kind of money that goes to defense spending, you can just imagine how huge it is. Now, the previous picture, as I said, represents the total federal budget. So the mandatory and the discretionary were combined. The second pie chart is just talking about the discretionary part of the federal budget. And the biggest portion, as I mentioned earlier, 58% of the present total 2009 budget goes to national defense. And again, I have to emphasize that in each of these other segments embedded are expenses that also goes to the military. And these are the cost of the wars that the U.S. had. I mean, the time frame and the of their spending from per month to per second. And this is how the U.S. military is distributed. They have divided the world into various commands. So now we have the latest creation, which is the Africa Command. Before the Africa Command was a part of the European Command. But if you ask why did Africa deserve to have its own command, you have to take into account the various interests that the empire is after in Africa. One of it is oil. And also because in Africa there is now the presence of the Chinese. There is a Chinese economic interest, and they are, so to speak, considered to be a threat, notwithstanding the fact that the largest holder of U.S. Treasury bills is China. Notwithstanding the fact that one of the sources of the money that funded the war in Iraq and funding the war in Afghanistan came out of the Treasury bills that China has bought. But the point here is that the U.S. military that uses weapons, uses materials produced by the manufacturers that I've mentioned before, is distributed all over the world, such as more than 150 countries, more than 750 military bases. That's just the acknowledged one. I mean, there are other presence that are not acknowledged. So. And this was the chart or the graph of the defense of military personnel distribution of 2007.